What's going on? It's your boy DJ Clinton of the Pass Rush Podcast, and welcome back. And I want to thank everyone for joining me here today. And before we get started on all of our talking points for college football, I want to say thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. It's been 1 year now on YouTube, and I just very much appreciate it so much just to have everybody here along for the journey. So thank you, and I hope we continue to ride this thing as far as we can take it with all the videos here to come. Now, with that out of the way, I want to say Colorado. Let's start with Colorado here. Of course, the talking point of the video, looking rough. When it comes to the defensive side of things, is of course the Pass Rush Podcast. We sack everything, and with that, we're not seeing that from the defensive line. A lot of hype came about with the defensive line, talking about we have 4 to 5 NFL-ready guys right now. Don't look that way. We're not seeing enough from the defensive front, causing enough pressure against guys like Cam Miller and Dylan over there in Nebraska. Dylan looks like he's ready for the league right now. He's taking over the league like a small Patrick Mahomes, but in college days, he's looking like, Trevor Lawrence, how he was throwing that thing at Clemson. But with the defensive front, I feel like that's part of the problem that we have is just we've gone against a senior at North Dakota and now a true freshman that just came from playing against high schoolers, and we're not producing. We're not causing them to get off their game. They're playing their game comfortably, and Shador's getting thrown off his game still. And that's where we lead into the problems with the offensive line. With the offensive line, I said in my last video, the defense and the offensive line doesn't really look different enough for us to say, oh man, things are really that different. It don't look that way, and that's part of the problem here is that it don't look different enough. Now, I would say that what would help the offensive line for Colorado is if they decide to run the ball. And if you're going to run the ball, I wouldn't do it with Offerdahl. I would do it with Hayden. Hayden from Ohio State, multiple 100-yard games in his career. Let's give him the ball. Let's let him run it. I don't see what we're waiting on. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. To have him behind Offerdahl when even in the spring game, Offerdahl wasn't the guy that really blew the spring game open. It was Isaiah Hodge, who also got hurt last game, so I hope him a speedy recovery. And when we think of recovery, we're talking about Shallow. I hope he recovers well, but I feel like just how he's looked this season and his last season, just so far with these last 2 games, he would like to come back as soon as possible. You need to see Shallow show that age and that maturity out there on the field and really blow things open and be a leader for the defense. And by being a leader, you have to be out there, even if you're not playing, and be out there when you are playing, and again causing that havoc. And we just haven't seen enough of that from the defensive side. I feel like guys on the defensive side for Colorado, like Bentley, have played really well. Woods have done pretty okay, but the main problem has just been up front. We're not making quarterbacks have 2 to 3 seconds to throw the ball. They're really getting 7, 8, 9 seconds to throw the ball. People crashing in really hard, and they're just getting one stepped over to the side. They're getting washed on their pass rushers. They're not hankering and bunkering down, doing speed the bull. We're not seeing a lot of that, and I know Coach Sapp is over there teaching that. So that's just part of the problem, what we're seeing with Colorado's defense. Again, offense, we just need to run the ball more. I feel like we're just depending so much on Shador and Travis Hunter and Jimmy Horn and the rest of the guys, and that's not what the offense needs to be built around. I know Coach Prime mentioned that you can't, most teams aren't usually good at running the ball and throwing the ball. Usually it's one or two. But at some point, you have to dedicate to running the ball. Like for me, I think a philosophy that I would throw in there is maybe just run the ball every first down. Because it would be unexpected after a while for teams. They wouldn't think that you would run it. You can mix it up with a pass here or there, but really just, decide to run the ball as much as possible. It's something I feel like you should do. When we move on to Texas and Michigan, I think Texas looks like the powerhouse that we expect them to look like. But I think the biggest thing is just seeing those flashes from Archie Manning. Like you're seeing those flashes. You're seeing like, hey, the future's bright for this guy when he gets his chance when Aaron is gone. I like what Texas is doing, but what I don't like is what Michigan is doing, is where you have such a big drop-off with Coach Harbaugh going. Like, it looks like, do they have to cheat? Like, at this point, do we have to cheat to be good for Michigan? Obviously, I'm a bit of a fan. I made the video last year just covering their season. Same with Colorado. I just think that with Michigan, they play hot potato with who's going to get this experiment once Coach Harbaugh is gone. And with that, the guy that they gave the head coaching reins to, he's pretty much struggling. The guy that was quote unquote cheating for them last year. The issue that I would see is that right now he's coaching high school football and he just got beat 60-0, and he's just not having a great time. Like it just seems like that whole unit is that dispersed last year is still finding their footing in their new endeavors, and I would like to see Michigan turn that around and be who we expect them to be, because I mean it's Michigan. When we move over to NIU and Notre Dame, really big performance from NIU. The way that team has performed against a big game team this year is just something that we have to congratulate. And then when you move over to Florida State, something I would like to talk about with Florida State is it's a little bit embarrassing with Florida State. I just don't feel like we're producing enough at Florida State to be the contenders that everybody thought we were last year. We lost a couple key players, yes, but Florida State is Florida State. Like, you should have somebody right behind them ready to go that's just as good. Like, that's what teams in Florida were known for, like Miami, Florida State, UCF. Like, those guys usually keep a good rotation of talent coming in. Like, you have everybody in Florida to recruit. You have people in Texas to recruit. You got people in California to recruit. Like, you can get all those hot state guys, those guys with speed and talent. And right now, Florida State just look like we don't have enough of that. We don't look like the powerhouse that we are known to be, and that's the problem that I have with Florida State, is that DJ comes over to play quarterback, and he's looking like everything people said he was. And I would like him to make people, prove them wrong. But with his dad arguing with people on Twitter and, ready to fight them and stuff over heckling his son, well, I would think that it's time for your son to produce now. Like, ignore all the noise. People can say whatever they want to say if you're not producing, and go out there and produce. And that's the same thing I want to look at with Florida. People wouldn't be talking about Coach Billy getting fired if he was producing. If he was actually producing, people wouldn't be looking at him to get fired. We're not the Florida. We're nowhere near the Florida we're supposed to be. Nowhere near the Florida that we used to be. Like, I'm just emphasizing that. Like, I'm such a big fan of the University of Florida that it's almost embarrassing to watch them play. And I feel like the karma from us looking so bad is not only did we all offseason talk about the culture change and how great we're going to be this year, but we picked up guys like Cromani McClain, which to me, I don't think Florida should be picking up people's secondhand problems. If he was a problem at Colorado, Florida, you got enough problems on your hands. Don't bring in a problem. I might get some backlash from that, but that's cool. Like, everybody deserves a second chance, sure. But I don't want Florida to be the school to do that. Like, we need to be worried about changing the culture for real for Florida and being a winning program, and not bringing in somebody who just bringing in baggage, and then we look bad, and now it's just an extra light because there's more fans actually paying attention to us, and we're just not looking like who we're supposed to be. And it's a problem because, like, teams like Missouri and Ole Miss are coming back into form. Like, they're coming back into form and looking like the talented schools they used to be back in the mid, 2000 teen area, like, from 2013, 14, 15, especially with Missouri. They're looking really good, like the 2015 team again, when they had, SEC championship. So I just feel like Florida is just so far away from that, and we're just getting farther and farther behind. Like, when you got teams like Georgia, who were missing multiple guys due to DUI arrests and domestic violence, and they still go out there and blow out Clemson, and we're struggling against Miami really bad, and we did well against Sanford, but it's just not, like, it's not enough. Like, it's not looking like a big enough change. And, maybe Lane Kiffin coming in is a good idea. Maybe trying to pay a crazy amount of money like Marvel just did Tony Stark to do Dr. Doom to get Nick Saban in. Maybe that is something that we need to look into for Florida. But this week we'll see if there's any saving grace for Coach Billy's job. But I'm not sure. If he doesn't start Lagway, I'm really very, very, very much off board when Mertz comes back. And then the last thing I want to finish this off with is Colorado State. This is make or break. Colorado State is make or break for Coach Prom. And it might be a little bit dramatic, but I'm just saying it's make or break because the fan base is tired of having to defend them and they're not defending themselves. And I'm one of those people that is defending Colorado. I am a Colorado fan. I'm a Coach Prime fan. I don't have Colorado beating too many people. I think maybe like one or two teams in my prediction definitively, like really beating them. But Colorado State has to be one of them as a bounce back after the massacre Nebraska just put on them, because we just don't look as physical as we did in week 1. Up until the second half, it looked pretty decent there, but we just not looking like a physical offense. Like we look like a finesse offense that's just taking what the defense gives us and not trying to make them respect on the other end of it. Like, okay, we can take what they give us, but they're gonna respect what we do. We're going to attack them multiple ways down the field with our speed. We're going to make them respect the speed so we can open up the run underneath to at least get 4 to 5 yards. You know, like we should be playing chess, not checkers when it comes to the offensive game. And I feel like it's too much checkers going on, leading to spirals until it gets a little bit out of control. And it's like, okay, we finally slowed it down. But if Nebraska didn't melt down in the second half and have all those penalties and look like a team that, like a completely different team, it could have got worse. And that's the problem that I have, is that it's make or break. Because if we go out there and we look sloppy and it's a similar game to last year against Colorado State, and it's not much for fans to really cling on and say, hey, this is who we beat, when not only are fans expecting, which is maybe a little bit unrealistic, college football playoffs, but it also expecting a little bit of bowl game. Like, this has to be a bowl game year. You're supposed to have a bowl game last year. This is bowl game. Like, and it's not a bowl game 6 win, barely getting in. It should be at least 8. I have them winning at least 8 games because the talent is on paper to win at least 8 games. All the talent that's been brought in, all the speculation, all the flexing, all of whatever, it's there. And then there's so much BS going on online with Colorado, just with Barstool creating fake stories and people trying to create other fake stories to attack Shador and Coach Prime and Shiloh and whoever you want to attack on the team. I feel like of course, to continue to defend yourself, but just block out all the noise. Winning kills all that. As I've always said, winning kills all of that. If you're winning, it doesn't matter. We need to be focused on beating Colorado State by at least 10 points. At least 10 points. And I feel like that really balances things back out, gets the team morality right, get the head on straight, all of that. And I plan on getting the live situation together. I keep trying to go live. It just never works out. Yeah, I plan on going live around the fourth quarter for Colorado State, and then stay on a little bit after the post game, and we all just give our opinions and have a safe space to really just, dabble into how we're feeling at the time, because I don't want to see what everything would look like if Colorado were to blow this fantastic opportunity that we have to really change paces again and really just stunt on all the hecklers, because every game you just see people of other fan bases clinging together to hope Colorado loses, and we're just tearing down another coach of a minority that is getting a chance to do something that many people don't get to do. And it's time for us to just evolve that and hope lift this team up, but also criticize them and see, like, hey, you need to change. We cannot continue to come out every single game and do the same thing over and over and over without some type of change-ups, or without seeing, okay, this isn't working. It worked in our practices, but it's not working against other teams. And with that, I want to leave you with take care. See you later on this week. I'm out of here. Peace.
Let me start out with the main thing. Whoever reported that I told the band not to play the fight song, that's idiotic. Y'all know that. Like, when you saw that, that was a lie. We got to start having some kind of accountability to this. I understand that this is a free and an open world, that everybody is not a journalist, everybody's not an analyst, everybody's really hadn't put in a lot of work to do what you all do. I'm thankful for many of y'all that take your job and your craft serious, and consequently, you get facts before you run with false narratives. But please know that that stuff affects people. Me, you've been attacking me my whole life, so I'm good. But other people that's involved, band members, Buffs, faithful, and alumni and all that, sometimes they don't know what to believe. And oftentimes in life, we believe the first thing we hear, in which we shouldn't. I just would challenge you to be more responsible with your reporting. And I never wanted to get personal. So when it gets personal, you got to really think about that. You got to understand I have a huge platform. I could really get personal if I wanted to. But I choose not to do that because that's not right. Some things in life is just not right. And I don't want to go there, and I won't go there. But think about it. Just my family alone, the platform is enormous. If we really wanted to go there, we could go there. But we would never do that. We weren't raised like that. We weren't brought up like that.
Up and I shake the room.